these videos because everything I thought I knew was a lie. Like, I was raised to pedestalize females and, put them above me. Make them think that they're better than us because they're women, because we should be treating them better than us. I was taught, the men should always pursue the women. They should always chase them because we're the hunters. We should always chase and chase and chase, and eventually we can get the women of our dreams. I was taught being nice was the only way to get to a female's heart. It's just all lies. So when I finally woke up and seen the truth for what it was, when I started asking these questions, why I'm being treated like shit for being nice to you, why am I being treated like shit, and then the dude you're just talking down on, you're with. Why is it that I'm always there for you in all of your problems, hearing everything you have to say, listening to you training me how you want me to be, but yet you're still with the guy who's mysterious? Things just never lined up and made sense to me. I've always been a kid to always ask questions. Even now, I just always ask questions. I don't just listen to what people tell me. I don't just be indoctrinated by the news around me, by what people tell me. I have to see it for my own self. I've been taught, everything that we've learned in school was true. Everything is just a lie. Back in September, that's when shit really changed for me. That's when I seen the world for what it was. Because growing up, I would say I was like middle class. I wasn't really poor, but also was nowhere near rich. So we decided, to move to another state. And everything happens for a reason. Moving to a new state, I didn't realize the journey it would bring on me. Going from somebody, who was pretty sociable, easy talking to people who's already in his life, going up to school with people you knew entire life, to being completely alone. And it was in that stillness I learned the most. Because when you're constantly doing and moving, you don't see the world around you. You don't see what's really in front of your eyes. You don't. You're just blind to the motion that's constantly going around you. But it's when you're in that stillness, it's when nothing around you is going on. You're just in the moment. You see things for what it actually is around you. I never understood why it was me. Why was I the one chosen for this? I didn't choose to have a spiritual awakening. I didn't choose to have it. It's like God backhanded me in the back of the head. It was like, here. And that's how I had my spiritual awakening. I was in that stillness. I was alone. I had to learn how to be alone. And I love being alone now. I enjoy my own company. I can be alone. I had to learn how to be alone because one of my biggest fears was being alone. So then when I faced that fear head on, and accepting that fear isn't real, it's just an illusion of what you keep telling yourself, I was faced head to head with it. I had to learn how to be alone. And that's okay. Sometimes you have to learn to be alone. There's nothing wrong with having friends if you have them. But there's also nothing wrong with being alone if you need to too. That's when I really seen things for how it was. All the questions I've been asking myself my entire life, it just all made sense now. You know, I understood men nature for what it was. You know, that we're always going to be attracted to whoever looks the best in our eyes. And it's possible if we're in a relationship, you know, we're looking for a woman with the fattest ass, biggest boobs, and looks good at the same time. That's just men nature. We're always looking at other girls' asses, always checking them out. This is who we are. Women nature. They're looking for the provider, for the protector. And that's where the beta comes along at. Because the nice guy, he does finish. He does finish alright, but it's always last. And that's one thing I can never wrap my head around. You know, why is it that we're doing everything they want and I was getting no results? But it's because they want that excitement. They want that thrill. They love that mystery. They're constantly trying to figure you out and who you really are. That's woman nature. And in the stillness, in the dark of the alone, I found out the real nature of the world. That everything around us is here for bigger purposes. It's here for agendas. You know, things that are happening now. They're not meant to happen now. They're meant to serve future purposes for agendas already lined up for those future events to take place. And school is getting us ready to accept all the doctrines being prepared for us later on in life. They're programming us in school to act a certain way, to believe certain things. Everything is a lie. Everything you thought that you knew is complete opposite. And once you be in the still, you have to be okay with being in the still. You know, don't try and force your way out of it, because the more and more you try to get out of the situation you're going through, the more and more resistance you're creating for you to get stuck in that situation you're going through. So the things that you're going through are happening for a reason, and it was meant for you to go through those things. It was meant for you to learn. And you have to be okay with being comfortable in the uncomfortable. If you're going through a breakup that really, really burns, it could be your first heartbreak, you were meant to feel that. If you're going through a very depressing situation, it was meant for you to go through that. Because in that situation, what was it that you learned from it? So you just have to accept the cards that you were dealt in your life and just play the damn best ability you can. You know, play your cards correctly. Quit throwing all your cards out on the table in the middle of the situation that you're fucked in. You know, hold your hand back, quit showing everybody your cards, and just play wisely. Because a lot of you guys are fucking yourself over in situations. You know, you're going through things, you're not learning nothing from it. So why do you think you keep going through the same situation over and over and over again? It's like your situation, your story you keep telling yourself is on repeat, because you're not learning information from what you're going through or what just happened to you and storing it for future use, but instead you're wondering why you're going through it. And you don't ever question yourself. You know, you're worried about everything else around you, everybody else around you, but you're not even worried about yourself. Come on, you really have to start to dive deep inside yourself. You know, pull that information out of you. You know, what did you learn in that last relationship? What did you learn in that friendship? You know, what has your family members taught you? You hear information, store it for future use. You don't hear information, just let it go through the other ear, because then you're going to find yourself stuck in the same situation over and over and over again. And that's why, you know, when I was a nice guy doing everything right with a woman, after 2 times of learning from that shit, I knew if I didn't change, it was gonna keep happening over and over again to me. I knew I'd have kept looking stupid out here, while the dude she really wants is on the side fucking her. I'm so over here begging her back. I'm not saying I hate women. I love women. You know, I love being around them. You know, I like their company. I like people's company. But I knew if I didn't change my ways on how I went about things to get them, while having them, I knew that my life was fucked. So I just need you to just wake up, you know, just be still. And when you're still, just allow life to reveal itself to you. You know, slow down. Stop moving so fast. Be in the moment. You know, quit worrying about the past because you can't change the past. Quit worrying about the future because you can't predict the future. You can only create the future by living now. The only way for you to know your future is by doing things now, because all the future is multiple occurrences of living in present time to create what you want to happen.